Just a big shout out to Touchdown Digital for sponsoring this week's video. Well, good morning everybody, welcome back to the channel. You're watching Sniper Photography. I hope you're all fighting fit and well. Today I want to talk to you about a subject about planning with our photography. Doesn't matter what type of photography you do, whether it's inside a studio, outside with family, friends, whether you're shooting landscape, seascape. Planning is everything, and I've found over the years, and I've been doing this for close to 40 years and 18 years professionally full-time earning a living from photography, planning is everything. I mean, great images or great photos just don't happen. They're planned, and doing research I think is very, very important when it comes to our photography. And planning on not only where you're going and what images you wish to create at any certain location, the planning starts well before that. Now, with landscape photography or seascape photography, particularly those type of genres, or even portrait photography outside, weather plays a part. We cannot control Mother Nature as much as we'd like to. We just can't do that. So I think planning should start with weather, and whether you, pardon the pun, but whether you think weather isn't important, well, I really think you should take into consideration light. Now, for me, in my personal opinion, light is everything in photography. You can do everything poorly, but if the light's poor or you don't know how to work with light, well then you've got a problem. So when it comes to planning for myself, and I say this to my students that participate in our workshops and on our one-to-one online tuition we do over the internet through our website, I say light is everything, and planning around light is, I think, probably the most important part actually. So the planning for our photography shoots or trips or days out, whatever you want to call it, starts well back before you even pack your camera gear in your bag. Now, what I like to do is watch the weather probably 3 days out from when I'm due to go. Now, most people that are probably watching this video can only shoot on weekends. I understand that. You've got work, you've got life, you've got family. But it doesn't matter what day you're actually going out to plan to shoot. It's a good idea to follow the weather 2 or 3 days prior to that event, because what happens there is once you get an idea of how to read weather, your ability to read the light will improve. Now, for me up here in the mountains, I really love low pressure systems, and I look at the weather religiously. I'm a maniac. I drive my wife mad reading weather and listening to the weather reports, and I always look for a low pressure system, because a low pressure system for me means beautiful light, and it's sort of like overcast, subdued sort of lighting. It's not that harsh lighting you get over the top of you. So I look for low pressure systems when I'm shooting either landscape or seascape, because I find that the light that is available to us when we have a low pressure system off our coast, especially here on the east coast, the lighting is absolutely magnificent. I prefer it to be overcast than actually sunny, to be quite honest. But in photography, light, there's no such thing as bad light. It's just through bad compositional choices, really. But for me, I look at the weather, and I always, fingers crossed, we get a low pressure system. And there's one coming in the next 3 or 4 days here. Hopefully I can get out due to the relaxation of COVID laws. So that's part of my planning. And then I move on to what equipment or what gear or what lenses I need to take, what filters I need to take. So the planning really starts well before you actually put that camera bag in your car or on your back and you go out and hopefully capture some nice images. So once you've got your location right and the equipment that you need to take with you, filters and cameras and lenses and so forth, the other part of the planning after the weather is what do you really want to achieve? Now, that's part of a plan. you set yourself a goal, but the plan is to achieve that goal, and you might think, right, well, I'm going to photograph, do a seascape shoot. Now, can I get down onto a rock platform, or am I up high? Do I need a telephoto lens? Or can I get down real low and shoot with a 14mm super wide angle lens? Or do I just need a 16-35 or a 17-40, whatever the case may be? Without your planning, you wouldn't know what equipment to take. So the next thing is to research the areas, especially if you haven't been to that area before. I mean, when soldiers are at war, they just don't go storming in. Those plans have been put in place months and months in advance because they know what they're walking into and what equipment they need. So with our photography, well, we're basically the same. No use taking or carting in unnecessarily gear, too much weight. It becomes quite a chore and you end up don't going, or you don't enjoy the day or the morning or afternoon. So research your areas. Now you can do that on Google Earth. Google Earth is outstanding actually, because that pinpoints, you can pinpoint it directly where you're going to go. You can do street view. I've even been able to look along a beach through Google Earth to see the headlands or the rocky outcrops or the rock shelves that I want to photograph. So Google Earth is another excellent thing to use. Of course, you can use social media such as Instagram and Facebook. You can use that as well, just get some ideas. There's another photo sharing site called Flickr. Now Flickr is still applicable in 2021, would you believe? It was sold and we thought that was the end of it. But Flickr is a great area to find locations, because what happens with Flickr, people post their images up there and it's got the locations. So it gives you ideas. You're not copying those people, you're just looking for locations. So once you've got the weather right and then you've got the location right, you can then implement what gear you're going to take, because the idea, you don't want to carry heavy equipment into a location and you're not going to use it, because it's just a waste of time and it just makes you tired, and you probably, as I said earlier, you probably won't enjoy the day. So we're looking at a system of looking at the weather, looking at the locations, combining with the weather. Then once you have that information, you can then correlate what gear you need to take. Travel light is the best, but you don't want to take unnecessary equipment with you thinking that you might need it or you mightn't, because if you do your research properly and you plan, you'll know exactly what equipment or what lenses to take and what filters. So other than that, that's about it really. Planning is not that hard. You just have to sit down with, I usually sit down with a notepad and I write down locations I want to go to. I look at the weather pertaining to that particular area. You can zone in, there's plenty of apps. You can get down on your phone or your iPad or computer, whatever the case may be, and you can pinpoint a location. Like up here at Wentworth Falls in the mountains, hit Wentworth Falls, it'll give you the weather for the day, the week, the month, and there are excellent apps out there pertaining to that with all the information that you would need. Then you look at areas, as I said, through Google Earth. Google Earth Maps is mainly the one I use, and you can get right in deep to the area and see where you got to go and if there's any tracks or roads or parking or anything like that. So planning does start from, I believe, weather, leading right up to what equipment you take, and then going out into your location and fingers crossed capturing beautiful images like I know you all can. So basically that's it. Before I finish up here, I'd like to thank the people who have participated in our one-to-one photographic workshops here on the computer. A few overseas people, which is quite surprising, and a lot of them have said to me that they'd love to come to Australia once the borders have opened, which is good. We will then put them into our group workshops and we'll go from there. So that's it for another episode of Sniper Photography. I think planning's very, very important when it comes to our photography. Any ideas or suggestions, please put them down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button and the bell next door so you don't miss anything. So as I always say, be nice to yourself, family and friends, but most of all, you keep shooting, and bye for now.